Hello, everybody. This is Comments from the Peanut Gallery. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz. I'm here live in Factory X Muay Thai down in Englewood, Colorado, here with Youssef, the Moroccan Devil Zalal. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good, man. So you've got a big fight coming up in about a week now. How's all the prep going for you?
Yes, sir. I have it in a week, March 16th. It's going to be on Friday. The prep went amazing. It was a long camp. It was supposed to be fighting February 9th, but now we're almost there, March 16th. It's been a great camp. Feel amazing. Weight cut is amazing. Everything's going amazing. So I just can't wait to showtime next week.
That's awesome, man. So it's March 16th. It's here in Denver. Where can people find tickets?
You guys can find tickets at pmmadenver.com. That's the Paramount MMA website. You can find my walkout shirt in there. They have it in the shop, or you can find the tickets. You can buy the tickets from there, and that's the most information you need to know.
Yep, absolutely. So make sure that you head over to the website and pick up those tickets. The Moroccan Devil will be the co-main event for the evening, so it's going to be a big showcase for him to put out his skills there for everybody. Where can the people follow you online?
You guys can follow me on Instagram, the Moroccan Devil, at the Moroccan Devil. Same with Twitter, and Facebook is just Youssef Zalal.
Okay, awesome. Now, as far as the fight team goes, you've been here with Factory X. What about fight team follows? How can people follow the team for updates for everyone else?
Yeah, you guys can follow the website, of course, the Factory X, in Facebook and everywhere. We always post the fights or who has fights coming up, who has this coming up. That's the mainly one, especially in Instagram too. Is the same way. Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It's just Factory X Muay Thai MMA. That's it.
Awesome. Just so everybody out there knows, we are Comments from the Peanut Gallery. You can follow us on all streaming platforms, including iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music. You can look us up online at www.galleриesofpeanuts.com. Follow us on Facebook at Peanut Sports, on Instagram at Comments from the Peanut Gallery, and on Twitter at Peanut Podcast. So, Youssef, what's your story, man? You came here when you were 14. You came over from Morocco. What was that like?
Oh, it was a dream come true to me, to be honest. I come in. That's first thing I saw was snow. That was the most amazing thing I saw in my life. So I still remember that to this day. I hate the snow, but that was the first thing I liked. So, but I mean, I came in here when I was about 14, 13. So I was pretty young. You know, I didn't know no English or nothing, but I was just deer in the headlights. You know, I was just loving the city, the Denver. It was crazy weather, but still, I mean, I loved how people were acting. Everything that I knew about America and Morocco was actually true. That I came in here and I saw it, so it was amazing feeling. Since I've been we're here now for 9 years, so I'm 21 years old right now. I'm about to be 22 soon, and then since then, that's where my journey started. Since I came to the United States.
So undefeated now as a professional in your MMA career. You had a pretty stellar amateur record as well. How did you get into the fight game in general? You know, where did this journey start for you?
Actually, this journey started in Morocco when I was 11 years old. So my mom actually, in Morocco, it's kind of like, it's a hard living in there. It's like some cities, some cities in here. It's the same as Morocco. It's a third world country. You know, it's definitely different living than America, that's for sure. But my mom always was that kid that want to be the best at it, at whatever I do. So my mom put me in kickboxing classes, and actually I always get bullied in school. Since I was young, I don't know why. They always want to bully me. When I came here too, it was the same way. They always want to bully me in here too. So it was kind of my mom just decided to put me in kickboxing, so I would go from school straight to kickboxing back home. It was me and my sister, and we take a taxi at the night and come back. So it was a different feeling, but that's where I started my kickboxing career, so I say. No, my MMA career. My MMA career started when I was 18 when I came here. I continued my Muay Thai career or kickboxing career in here when I was from 14 to like 18, and then I started my MMA career in here.
Okay. When you first started here, you said that it was American Top Team that kind of helped you get into the MMA world, or through those teenage years with kickboxing and all that as well. How was coming into kind of they're a pretty big MMA family out there in terms of gyms and systems. How did something like that help you out specifically?
Actually, it was a funny story. I was the American Top Team, the first American Top Team that was in Denver. It was next to my apartment complex, but I always wanted to do kickboxing. I walked into the gym; it was huge, it was big, and then it was like all cages, and I was like, I don't know what a cage is. I never seen a cage. I never noticed a cage. So I was like, what is this gym? And then they said it's a mixed martial arts gym. So that's when I kind of seen people rolling, grabbing each other and kind of stuff like that. So it was something different for me I never seen. But since then, my dad couldn't afford to pay for me to train at American Top Team. So I had to wait another year to actually follow them again. And then I knew they had in Peoria in Mississippi, they had a new a bigger building. It was like huge. They had like wrestling ring, because Bobby Lashley was a wrestler, so they had practice in there. We had a boxing ring and MMA ring, so it was kind of like it was definitely big. But yeah, since then my dad can afford for me to pay to go to train, so that's when I started training. Started jiu-jitsu, and then Muay Thai. Keep going, and then I had my first Muay Thai after a year and some change with American Top Team, and then I had my first Muay Thai fight with them, and then that's when my whole career started. Until 2 years ago, actually, the gym closed down. They had some issues with with like payments or something, I guess, and then that's when I started training with Factory X 2 years ago, and then that's still training, still going.
Okay, nice, awesome. You mentioned that it was Austin Jones that kind of helped you transition over to this gym from American Top Team. Austin, a friend of the show also. He was on a couple of episodes ago. Describe your relationship there.
Oh man, it's my relationship with Austin is it's amazing, man. He's like a brother to me. He knows me since six years ago. We trained together for my all amateur career, and I was still training with him as a pro career right now. So it's nothing different since the beginning. He's been with me in my first Muay Thai fight, actually. So, and then he been in my corner a couple of times. But he's an amazing dude, man. He pushes me and I pushes him. So it creates a bond, and then the bond just gets stronger and stronger. You know.
That's awesome. He was definitely a great guest to have on the show. Very entertaining individual.
No, that man is hilarious. I'll tell you that.
How was it coming over to the States without knowing English? You mentioned that. Was it arguably your biggest obstacle in that moving process?
No, actually, learning English was the easiest thing for me, to be honest. I learned it in 6 months, but it's more of, I was a kid. I was more urgent to learn anything. I was ready to learn anything. I was like a sponge. I was ready to take anything I want, but it's more the culture, to be honest. It's like I went to school, and then it was like so many different people, and then you have so many groups I had to get used to, and it's like that's the biggest thing I kind of had to learn in the United States, or in the States I should say. It's the culture, how people culture act differently, and how everything is different than Morocco, to be honest. So that was my biggest obstacle I had to learn. So it was, it took me a while, but as soon as I learned it, it was a lot more fun, to be honest. So
that's understandable. Would you say that on average, in terms of just people's general disposition or attitude, are people happier here in the States? Are they not so much? Are they more rushed and stressed? What do you think there, since you've had a little bit of a perspective from each side?
It just depends on the people, to be honest. I knew some people are not very happy. My family side, it's the immigrant side too, so it's kind of like you had to struggle for a while to be happy. But it's not about how the life is gonna make you happy. It's between the family and all that stuff. That's what makes it happy, And then what they say: show me your friends, I'll show you your life. So the more friends I got, in high school I had like terrible friends, I should say. It's not a great friends, They want to put you in the bad path, but as soon as I grow up, I kind of knew that I had to choose the right side, and then that's when I actually opened my mind, and then that's when I started actually focusing on my whatever I'm gonna get to that I have to get to. So that's what I focus on. So
That makes sense there. Would you say that being, with you being an immigrant to the United States, that has given you a leg up in terms of any sort of motivation or anything like that, as opposed to the average American who may be, for lack of a better term, a little bit more entitled or lazy?
oh yeah, it's the biggest motivation I would ever get, to be honest, because I haven't seen my mom for 9 years. So it's kind of like you want to see your mom, but you want to show her she's proud. It's like she's already proud as a mom, but in my side, I want to make her more proud. It's kind of like, wow, look how the success he did. He went for 9 years, but when he comes back, all the success he did, people remember him as who he is, and that's my child. So that's what I kind of feel like, and I still use it as motivation till this day, and then all that stuff till this day. So, and then my other thing motivates me is my brother, actually, who passed away. He was like my biggest fan, and then in here, and he was 24, and he's like, he didn't have the more life to live. It's only 24, and then he struggled 6 years in here, and I struggled with him. So it's kind of like I want to use that motivation to make my family more proud and happy life in the end. So that's what my goal is.
And totally relate there and totally sympathize with you. I lost a brother recently myself as well. For all of you Joey Diaz fans out there, he's got that immigrant mentality and he's ready to go. Especially keep that in mind once March 16th comes along. Now, as far as sponsors, who are some of the people that represent you out there, or that you carry the banner for?
I mean, I have, of course, my gym. Of course, I always carry as a sponsor Factory X. I go Landau Performance. That's world-class strength conditioning gym. TJ Dillashaw trains there. All the NFL players train there. So that's one of them. Rackfast is my other sponsor, and Denver Chiropractor, actually, yeah. Denver Chiropractor has been helping me from this camp since I started this camp, so I'll go see them every week. So it's been amazing, great chiropractor, Dr. Trent, actually, that's the name. You guys should go check it out. It's pretty amazing in there.
Very nice. Shout out to Denver Chiropractic and to Coach Landau over there at Landau Performance Sports, also just recently named the strength conditioning coach of the Denver Broncos. As far as sponsorships from the comments from the Peanut Gallery, we are also brought to you in part by Carlson Property Solutions. If you are in the northern Colorado area and are in need of any quality home repair, restoration, or renovation services, make sure you check out Carlson Property Solutions by giving Brian and Becca a call at 970-775-4274 or visit them online at www.carlsonpropertysolutions.com. Once again, give Brian and Becca a call at 970-775-4274 or check them out online at www.carlsonpropertysolutions.com. I'm Jordan Kurtz with comments from the Peanut Gallery, and you can check us out online at www.galleriesofpeanuts.com. You can follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook at Peanut Sports, on Instagram at Comments from the Peanut Gallery, Twitter at Peanut Podcast. And you could also listen to us and subscribe on all major streaming platforms, including iTunes, Google Play Music, as well as Stitcher. The Moroccan Devil, how'd you get that nickname?
Actually, my old coach, my Alex Hudson, that's his name. I always liked which is my favorite fighter of Morocco. It's Badr Hari. He's a kickboxer. He's a world-class kickboxer, but he was called like the Golden Boy, the Moroccan Devil, and this and that. And after one fight, I got the belt as a Muay Thai fight, and then he started calling me. He started calling me the Moroccan Devil, and I just loved it since then. And he always called me the Moroccan Devil, and since then I stayed the Moroccan Devil.
That's a pretty cool nickname. I like it a lot. It's definitely unique and not something that I don't think anybody else out there that you hear. I mean, you only can have so many cowboys, so many of the Lions, this and that. But that's very unique. I like it a lot.
And there's not a lot of Moroccans in MMA, so it's kind of makes me more happy to just pursue that name and then just keep it up. So
awesome, man. Now, what would you say if you could name one, or maybe it might be a series or a couple of different things? What is, if you could take away one of the biggest life lessons that mixed martial arts has taught you?
But mixed martial art taught me a lot of things, especially my old coach. He and still to this coach, my head coach Mark Montoya, still they teach me what life lessons is. Mixed martial arts, it's not about all training about here. It's about the outside. It's more about you being a good person, you supporting, helping people and stuff like that. That's the biggest lesson I ever learned, to be honest. Was don't start fights, don't try to bully people, save the people, help the people, kind of like that type of deal. So that's my motto, being like that since I started the MMA, to be honest. And I always was the energized kid, hyper kid, and I mean still teammates would probably say the same thing, but I always, and outside the gym, I always love helping people and communicating with people and just loving life in general. I'm trying to live as a happy person. That's my goal. That's what MMA taught me, actually. And then this is my happy place. When I train MMA, do MMA, this is my life. So this is the only thing I got. That's how I feel. So my motto since I came in here, I have to get good at this, and I will be good at this. That's my motto, being like that.
It's a great outlook to have, and very powerful with the positivity and the mental visualization that I could tell that you have. With you being so young and starting to make that climb as far as the rankings list goes, what do you see in terms of your arc or your progression? Whereas where do you see yourself taking the next step to the next promotion? What kind of timeline do you see for yourself with anything like that?
Oh yeah, I see I'm definitely gonna be fighting LFA soon, so that's my closest step to the UFC. But you definitely hear from me in the UFC soon. I promise that. I promise you guys that for sure. So that's my biggest achievement will be. That's one achievement, but that's my short goal achievement. But my long goal is to be a world champion at my weight class at the UFC at the highest level. So, and I have the great team and I have a great coach to get me there. So
it's an incredible goal to have. And you mentioned coach a couple of different times. Coach Mark Montoya here from Factory X was just recently featured on The Ultimate Fighter as a coach for Team Stipe. So that's definitely a big leg up out there, or a big promo opportunity, and something to kind of showcase what the team here is bringing out there to the national scene. So I'm sure that's very positive for you guys to see your imprint making a big splash on the MMA community out there as a whole.
Yes, sir. It's kind of tough because he has to go to the Ultimate Fighter for 4 weeks straight. But I mean, it's like you see your team go to the big level and then stay at there. So it's kind of, it motivates the people, the smaller people, like the amateurs, the upcoming pros, and all that. It motivates me every time. Like, oh, I want to be in the UFC. I want to be like that guy. I want to be like my teammate. I want to be like that. So it's a big motivation going through every time in this gym, especially in this gym. It pushes each other every day. So you want to be at the highest level, but you got to put the work to get there. So that's where we actually hard to put on. And then Mark Montoya is really good at that. So, and he's a genius when it comes to MMA coach. So I'll tell you that. I never seen an MMA coach like him. So it was a great feeling to know Mark Montoya. And actually it was from my old coach who introduced me to Mark Montoya, and then that's when I started with Mark Montoya, and then there we go. And then I started my career.
That's awesome. I had the opportunity to meet Coach yesterday. Great guy. Now, to kind of ask you a couple of questions in terms of kind of your just personal preferences or thoughts and feelings with MMA. If you had to say, what's your favorite fight of all time, or what was that one fight to you that said, this is what makes me love this sport?
I actually watched my first fight I watched when I came here was I watched it like just a video highlight kind of, and then I looked in to find the full fight. It was Jose Aldo versus Uriah Faber in WEC's fight, and then because I used to love that kickboxing style, just low kicks and go punches, low kicks. We really did not care about takedowns, but that's when I actually started MMA, and then I started like, wow, you actually can do kickboxing in MMA. So it's kind of like, that was actually the fight I still remember to this day, and I still watch to this day. Jose Aldo, I mean, of course he's he's still a high level fighter. You can never doubt that guy. But I still love watching that guy. So that's my I would say my favorite fighter since I came here when I was young.
Okay. One of the most vicious with those low kicks, like you were talking about, through the dominance or the prime of his career. It always makes me wonder, watching some of his fights recently where he doesn't throw as many kicks. I wonder, do you think his knees are just finally gone, or?
Well, I think it's just the new generation. They're faster than you. You're getting slowed down a little bit, so it's kind of like I said, like Mike Tyson said, you get hit. This is a different game plan. It's like that's why you want to get your mind in practice to go autopilot mode. You know what you're doing. You get tired. You're gonna get tired in a fight, so might as well just do it in here and then just go out there and just fight. Just have fun. That's my biggest thing I had to learn since my amateur career to my pro career. Actually, my last amateur fight. I kept telling coach, this is the calmest I'm gonna be, which is I was, but I didn't have that. I'm gonna finish that fight aggression, like I'm gonna finish this fight. But since I moved to my pro career after that, that's when I started getting better at it. And of course, talk to your coach, and then the biggest thing is talk to yourself. That's how I feel about it. Your biggest enemy is yourself. So if you cheat yourself, you're gonna figure it out in a fight. So. That's what I feel like, and then that's what been helping me, and that's what I feel like Jose Aldo kind of been through. Is like, all these guys are hungrier, more. He's been a champion. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Let's hope. But he's a great fighter. Still remember, it will be remembered for sure.
Definitely. You mentioned having that killer mentality or that killer instinct. How important is it to have that mentality regardless of the situation in this game?
It is very important. I learned the best advice. Finishes changes your life. More finishes you get, the more exposure, the more UFC wants you, the more all this wants you. So you want to have that finishing aggression on you, but you don't want to go for it too much though. It's kind of like you have to figure it out. I don't know if you watched Jeremy Stevenson when he's coach in the first round. He was like, calm down, the power will come to you. And then that's the biggest advice I learned was like, I didn't believe in my power at all when I was an amateur until I came into the pro and I started believing it. And that's when you find the finishes after that. So it's kind of like, that's what I'm kind of going at right now. It's kind of like, be smart, technical, smart, and then finish the fight when time comes to. So.
Do you feel like the game is starting to slow down a little bit for you? You're starting to see things a little bit easier, and those opportunities for the finish, or maybe with that patience and maturity within the cage, opening themselves up a little bit more rather than maybe a younger approach and kind of rushing it, or you get that first little knock and you kind of sprint and it's maybe not there. Do you think that maturity and that time frame of just seeing more action has been a big factor for you there?
Oh yeah, it's been a ton of factor on my game. It's when I was young, I'm like, oh, I want to go finish, but I get tired. It's kind of like, it's a whole different ball game when it comes to that. And then you will see in the highest level, it's kind of like, this is the regional level, and it still is like, you still have to be smart and technical, but it definitely it becomes a lot easier when it comes to your nerves, and then the fight, you will see stuff that you couldn't see 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but because you just got so much better. And then the more time you spend in the cage, the more better you get. I'm 21. I'm just getting started, to be honest. I'm getting better every day, and I'm like a sponge right now. I'm still learning every day. I'm learning new moves every day. So it's kind of, it's a great feeling, I'll tell you that.
What's your favorite of the disciplines to kind of, sink your teeth into for Irvi Willie right now? Is it, are you really kind of taking more to the jiu-jitsu side? Are you more still kind of resting heavy on the kickboxing and Muay Thai side? Whereas where's your focus kind of been driven the last little bit?
My focus, to be honest, it's mixed martial arts. I don't just do kickboxing. I don't just stick with kickboxing. My mid sessions will be different the whole time. Like I said, my head coach Mark Montoya has a genius brain. I'll tell you that, genius mind. So it's kind of like, whatever the game plan is, that's all I work on. It's the game plan, and I just keep getting better where my weaknesses are. So you get your weaknesses up, and then keep what you're good at. Keep them in that. We're still getting good and good and good. We don't want to be plateaued. That's for sure. But it's definitely I'm sticking with the game plan. Whatever the game plan was, I let the guys do the thinking for me. The coaches, the assistant coaches, all those guys, they will do the thinking for us. We just go out there and fight. I just do whatever we learned for the past 6 weeks, 7 weeks for a camp. So it's always like I do jiu-jitsu, I do kickboxing, I do boxing, I do all that stuff. I don't just prefer one thing. I learned it the hard way because all I wanted to do was striking. And then my first actually fight with Factory X was an amateur fight that I lost. The only loss that I have was I just got out wrestled all day because I'm a striker. It's like, oh, I'm focused on striking. That's it. But my mentality had to change after that. So that's when I started doing more wrestling, more jiu-jitsu. That's when my game just elevated more after that. So
just becoming more well-rounded is what really made it take off.
And that's the goal, is to be well-rounded in here, especially in the mixed martial art game. So you don't want to be one guy. You see all these guys, all these strikers are getting either submitted or this and that, but it's all a different ball game. So that's what I like.
Makes sense. Speaking of which, talking about kind of that, that grappler versus striker matchup just announced. What is your thoughts on that matchup between Alistair Overeem and Curtis Blades?
It's a great matchup. I like Curtis Blades. Actually, he's from Denver, so I always support the Denver fighters, of course. But I think Curtis Blades wrestling been a huge part of his game, and he's a heavyweight. Absolutely. All these heavyweights been looking for a power punch. DC said it the best way, or all those guys, all the smart guys said it, like, if you're looking for a one-punch knockout, you got problems. So it's kind of, it's like playing poker. You might get lucky, you might not. So it's kind of, I love fighting those guys. It was like, because all they want is that power shot. So you see they're going to throw it. So he's going to figure it out. That's why I feel like Curtis Blades will definitely do great against Overeem. I feel like he will beat Overeem for sure.
I think that he has a great chance. I think that the evolution of Curtis Blades from these last 18 months has been immense. Especially when you see, because yes, everybody out there, I know you're going to say, well, he took the L to Francis Ngannou. Well, who didn't on his meteoric rise? But now you start to see him really kind of take into account a lot more of the striking side of things. He went up against just recently a world-class striker in Mark Hunt.
Yes, sir.
And he ragdolled him. Curtis Blades is a big boy that is a great grappler. I think that that's going to be a great styles clash matchup between them. I wouldn't mind seeing if he gets through him, seeing what kind of a grappling duo that you could maybe have with him and a Verdum. I think that could be a great heavyweight matchup.
That'll be a great heavyweight matchup,
Because I don't think that he's on that high level yet to where you'd be, fighting for a title shot after this next fight. But I think that him and Verdum are both kind of on that, that next level, kind of chipping away, ready to get themselves into title contention again.
And you can climb quickly as a heavyweight too. So you've seen Curtis Blades started, and then he's done I think he's the number 5 now, isn't he? Like number 5.
I believe so, something around there. But then again, who really? UFC rankings, do they really matter? Because Alistair is still, I believe, like number 3 or something after he just got starched by. After he got starched by Francis.
It's definitely read rankings, but rankings in like the lighter division will help you get title shot as soon as possible. To be honest, that's the more money at. The more money they want, the more title shots you get, the more money you get. That's how they think about it. So it's kind of like you want to climb as the top as quick as possible. So that's great. And speaking of wrestlers and a striker, look at Khabib. Oh my God, actually I train with one of my training partners, Joe Warren. Actually, he fights for Bellator, and then you talk about Greco wrestling instead of just wrestling. It's a whole different ball game. It's like you learn new stuff every time. You think you know it all, but I was like, whew, my wrestling is getting better. And then I go with Joe Warren, and it's like, oh, back to the bottom now. It's
exactly.
It's terrible now, but it tells you how this game can change you real quick. It's like more, you have to find all these, and I'm kind of blessed with that. I kind of find all these teammates are good at certain things, and then we push each other to the limits, and then we get better at what we're not better at. So it's kind of like you're not good at striking, you'll be better at striking training with this guy. It's kind of like all my teammates, like Jordan, Tony, of course, wrestling. Look at these guys pushing me every time wrestling. And, like, that's the main thing I focus on. Sid Bice, he fights for LFA. He's the #1 contender. And then we have Derek Branson. He's a great wrestler as well. But it's like more of, he keeps getting my game up every time, and it gets better every time. So that's what I love about this game, and I feel like it's a really blessing to me to find this training partners. Because all I had training partners was 2 heavyweights and Austin Jones 170. I used to fight 35, so it was kind of like
Big
hard.
jump.
Yeah, it's like hard in the brain and hard in the body. It's like you feel weak. You're not stronger than those guys. So it's kind of like, but it made me better because of that, all that struggle that I've been through as a bantamweight to fight those guys, train with those guys, train with Austin and all those stuff, and then people they see the improvements. And the main thing is I'm trying to impress myself, and that's the best advice I learned from Coach Mark Montoya is every fight just impress yourself. You don't need to impress nobody. Who cares? Impress yourself. That's the best way.
That's great. Yo, you've definitely had a great list of names here that are some of the who's who within the MMA community. With that being said, who is the most famous person that you've had the opportunity to spar or to roll with, or I mean, it could be a variety of a couple. There's a lot of big names that come through down there.
Yeah, I mean, TJ De La Salle was the biggest one for his Cody fight. Before his Cody fight, I trained. Of course, I did jiu-jitsu with him. I sparred with him. I did striking with him. So it was eye-opening for sure to train with a world-class level fighter, and then you just see the whole different, the way they think, the way they train, the way it's crazy to me, and I learned a lot from it actually. It pushes you every time, and then he comes into Landau is the same way, and then I train with the same guys that are the world class. They're world champions, so that kind of motivates me more every day to be like, wow, I can do this. This is nothing. Like this is another day to me. This nothing to me. So, and then another guys like scary dudes, Matt Brown. Oh my God, sparring with that guy it's not fun. I'll tell you that. It's an amazing dude. Yeah,
that's what Austin said too.
He's an amazing dude, but oh my gosh, he trains crazy too. So he's a really hard-working man too. So it's kind of amazing to me. All these guys though from the UFC, like we have James Krause. He doesn't train with us all the time, but he comes in for his camps and finishes his camps in Denver, stuff like that. So I always learn from him, and I still learn from him to this day. Actually, the game is just amazing. His game is just wow. It just amazes me every time. We have Zach Cummins the same way. He comes in and train with us. Megan Anderson actually. It's a ton of people comes in and train with us. So it's kind of like, but that's the main names I kind of see, and I still train with guys that fought for the UFC. Chris Camozzi, guy who just fought last in the UFC. Brian Camozzi, and all these guys. So it's kind of like I've been training with the high level guys since I started here, even as an amateur. So it's kind of like like I said, it's a blessing for sure. So you get to see it here before you go into the high level. So it's amazing.
Is TJ really the Killashah renegade in practice that he's rumored to be?
Man, that guy can go for hours. I'll tell you that. His cardio game is crazy. You might be better than him, but he will outrun you. He will outlast you. That's what I kind of learned from him. So it's kind of like that's what my kind of mentality was. To be honest, my last 3 pro fights was like, I'm trying to change your game and then just put you in hard places. That's the best way, and then finish you in the end. Finish comes. It doesn't. It is what it is.
Definitely. He's always, rumored, oftentimes not in the greatest light in terms of camp and whatnot. And granted, it's a lot in large part probably because of the bad blood with Uriah and Cody and those guys. But have you experienced any of the alleged cheap shots or, the overly emotional type of guy? You might tag him in a round of sparring and then he's going to come at you and hit you after the round bell, or any of the things that he's alleged to do, within practice situations?
No, man, he's actually a great guy, man. I love training with that guy. He's nothing. Of course, he takes care of his training partners. He always fun. He's always laughing, especially in sparring. You punch each other and you're laughing and hugging each other. And I never seen that side of him at all. So it never happened in here in the gym or in Orlando. So I really can't say it happened. So he's a great guy, man. I love training with him. And I still see him to this day sometimes at Landau. So it's kind of it's a great guy, you know. He always wants train with us, come train with us. He always telling me, oh yeah, I'm gonna come through, train. So it's still amazing to see a world class champion wants to train with you guys. So it's kind of like, wow, like it's a happy feeling. I'll tell you that.
It's got to be empowering, and we can, officially put some of those rumors to bed, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing it straight from now multiple sources that have trained directly with TJ stating that. So maybe hopefully we can put some of that drama to bed. I know it kind of blew up a little bit once Uriah and Cody were on Rogan's show talking about it, and it just kind of blew up a little bit more from there. But you hear it directly from an unbiased party here. Now, you've got a wide range of skills across the disciplines. Let me just ask you kind of a couple of rapid-fire questions just between maybe a couple of things. Muay Thai or kickboxing?
Kickboxing.
Wrestling or jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu.
Standing or on the ground?
Standing.
Standing or on the ground? Okay. Now, this is kind of a question that
I wish
everybody...
I had both, but...
wish I had both, okay.
But I'll be that guy to pick, not be like, both. I'll just pick. So, it is what it is.
The big question that many people always ask about is weight cuts. They say that's all, and coming from the perspective that you have, actually jumping up a class, you said that you really haven't had within your pro career a whole lot of difficulty, but you have had one experience when you were still at 35 where it gave you some difficulty. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, it was not like weight cut went great. Food was great, everything went great. The only difficulty is me not being smart enough to take one of my teammates, and then I had two girls cutting weight with me, and they don't know how weight cuts go. So it's kind of like, guys will pass out sometimes. It's the living like that. It's kind of like pass out. It's because you got up too quick. Your blood sugar is up, something like that. So a lot of people don't know that. So it kind of had two girls with me, and it was my mistake. So I learned from that day. That's for sure. But I mean, I was still back here cutting weight, but the girl that was with me called the promoter, and then the promoter canceled the fight, and then it was a long drama, I would say. But I definitely learned that was the big lesson I learned, and I'm happy I learned as an amateur and then as a pro. So it's life. Everything happens for a reason. So that's what I learned from, and then that's taught me a big lesson. That's for sure.
Sometimes you have to have that hard lesson to learn what's best for the future and that side of things. With this being a long camp, I'm sure you're pretty well on pace right now. Don't want to give away too much out there for people that may be listening, or maybe from the other camp that might be, but everything is on pace right now?
Oh, perfect. Everything went amazing for me this camp. Of course, there's bumpers and bruises and all this stuff, but who cares, It's, you go out there and
the fight game. Who wasn't hurt?
Exactly. So you go out there and fight. My weight cut is going great. Everything's going great. And I just can't wait to show skill my skills, and that's the biggest thing I'm waiting for.
Maybe something that a lot of people might not know. What's a skill that you feel like you bring to the table that that may not be something that has been highlighted at this point?
Man, I feel like my ground game is still not people not respecting my ground game. So it's kind of like I still prove people wrong to this day. I mean, I have 2 submissions already as my pro career. I finished a guy who's never been finished before, 7-2. He fought a guy from he actually fought Corey Sandhagens, and he's in the UFC right now. He couldn't finish him, so it's kind of like I'm kind of getting better every time, and I pull those out of nowhere. So it's kind of like it's pretty weird submissions too. 10-finger choke, a Dars. So it's kind of like. So it's I'm kind of still I'm impressing myself, which is the best way, and then everybody else gets impressed. So that's kind of how it goes. If more you impress yourself, the more people will get impressed, and then more hype you get, and then more of that. So it's kind of that's what I kind of love about it. So and I still work way too hard to prove people wrong when it comes to all mixed martial arts. I'm not just this guy. I'm not a specialist at this. No, I'm a mixed martial arts guy. I I'm not a striker. I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. I'm not a wrestler. I'm a mixed martial arts. You might beat me in a jiu-jitsu match. You might beat me in a kickboxing match, but you're not beating me in mixed martial arts. That's all that matters to me.
Great outlook there. Pulling the darts off though, as were you blue belt at that point? Or
Oh yeah, I was still blue belt to this day. But yeah, it was my pro debut actually, and that's
big time.
Yeah, actually, the first round we were doing good. We figured him out. Second round was I hurt my hand, so it was like kind of like, oof, what's going on? It's like, so my coach was like, throw elbows. So I started throwing elbows, just right elbows. I couldn't throw my right arm, and then took him down, and then controlled it a little bit, and then that's when the cardio part comes out. It's like who has more in the tank. So, and that's Landau Performance did the amazing job for that, and then my strength and conditioning coach actually Augie was he keeps pushing us every time, and then Austin. Now we have like 9 guys or 8 guys train with us now at 6 a.m. It was like it went from both of us, me and Austin, to 9 people or 8 people. So it's kind of like it's amazing how everybody pushes everybody, and that's when that fight comes up. And I was like, started thinking about it when I went to the ground. I was like, I could finish this fight, and that's when the darts came up, and then it happened. That's when with the flow, and then it happened.
Pretty crazy that the grappling and the sub side of things isn't necessarily the strong suit of your background, but that's where the majority of your finishes have came from. Do you think that kind of just speaks to you just still kind of coming into your own on that grappling side? I know you've kind of alluded to it throughout our conversation here, but do you see a lot more of those submissions coming through? I read your article today in MMA Today, and you said that you felt like this was going to be a finish by sub this fight. Is that where your thoughts are still?
Oh yeah, my thoughts. Like I said, of course, I'm not gonna force the submission. If the knockout come in, that's I'm not forcing. But I'm definitely looking for the finish. Of course, that's my main thing. But yeah, I always want to prove. I always want to all the stuff that I do in training. I was like, I want to get that. I want to get that in a fight. So that's my biggest move, and that's what I keep talking to my coach. Me and coach will always have fun. Before my fights, I always look at him in the middle of the cage, and me actually fighting, I'm looking at him and smiling and kind of type of deal. So it's kind of like I want to get whatever I did and whatever I told coach. And you can talk to coach or anybody. All my last 3 fights, I said I'm gonna finish those fights, and I did. So it's kind of like I always want to set a goal to myself to follow. So it's kind of like whatever I did in here, I wanna more better in there. It's kind of like I'm the guy I want to shine more in the light than me shining in training. It's kind of like I still want to do both. I want to be the best guy in the gym and outside in the cage. So it's kind of the best way I feel like, and then that's what been helping me a lot, to be honest. And that's what been helping my jiu-jitsu game a lot. I was like, I can finish this guy in the ground, but I don't think about it. It just comes into me. Every time I think about it, I learned it when I was young. The young Youssef actually, like if I come in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a triangle. I go out there and start finishing the kid with a striking. So it's kind of like that don't work. It's like that, but more for me, it's more like, oh, I know I have the jiu-jitsu game. I just gotta go out there and let it happen. So that's what I always do, and then the submission will come to me. So, but main thing I try to challenge myself. I'm like, if I did a submission that I really like in here, I want to do it out there or in the sparring rounds. I always want to do something that I always challenges me, that I'm not so great at, and everybody thinks I'm not great at. So I want to. That's what my challenge is, to get better at it and be so good at it that everybody be like, wow, it's like that's his move, kind of type of deal. So that's what I've been aiming for.
Just as you've completely said this entire time, being a complete martial artist.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like that is 100% the goal there.
And I'm still learning to this day how to be a complete mixed martial arts. You never stop learning in this sport. You never stop, because you have a coach who has 40 years experience or 20 years experience training high level fighters, and then his brain he keeps studying every time too, and then you keep studying, watching videos, and there's your skills and there's your coach's skills added together. It's kind of like, wow, it's mind blowing. You actually can change a lot of things, and it's more kind of like game plan. It's like my game plan is always to have fun. That's my main one. I always focus on. We don't care who you are, who you train with, who you did, or what you done. I don't care. I just go out there and fight. That's the main thing. But mixed martial arts, I'm still learning to this day. Different wrestling moves. Like I just said, Joe Warren, it was like, I didn't know that wrestling even exists. until he came in, and I was like, they didn't even care about the legs, they care about the top. And then it's a whole different wrestling game, and he opens up your eye like, wow, there's a whole lot of different styles in here, and me actually teaching classes and holding pads is just helps me a lot as a mixed martial arts. You can see the punches you're holding, you have to come up with ideas, you have to think. Now you're just not just holding. Everybody can do that. You can go to a personal trainer, he will just hold for you, but I mean, it's kind of like you have to actually think about the game plan for the guys you train with, you hold pads for, and kind of like that. So that's what kind of been helping me as a mixed martial arts, and he still does. And I feel like it will never stop for me. I will always learn. That's what makes me happy in this sport. It's you never stop learning. And like they said in jiu-jitsu, you never stop learning. It's the same way as kickboxing and that stuff. You can be good at 10,000 things, but I can be good at one thing, and that's do it 1,000 times, like Bruce Lee said, and I will still beat you every time. So it's kind of like, that's my motto kind of going with. So I want to get better at everything I want to do, and every aspect of the sport. So I want to get better at, and even I want to get better at as a person too, not as just a fighter, as a person too. So that's what my motto is for this game, for this fight game.
That's awesome. You know, you have a very, very positive outlook. You know, a very high motor and drive with all of this. Your ceiling is, it's non-existent. You know, you have opportunity to shoot for the stars, especially being so young in this game. One big question that I have to ask you, just because it ties to, I know, another strong personal interest of yours. What's your hardest food to give up during weight cut?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yes. Chocolate is my kryptonite, I call it, and I think everybody knows it here, but I don't know, everybody has different food stuff, but me, I'm the type of guy who always want to eat what my brain always grow up with, but it's like, chocolate is my kryptonite, but I mean, you have to be disciplined in this sport though, so we always change it up, so when it comes to 6-week camp, you always gotta change everything else. So I always focus on that thing, and then I was like, how bad do you want it, and type of deal. So of course my meal all changed and all that stuff, and then I just focus on whatever I'm good at, and then make that win performance wise. And all these guys think they can make weight after eating whatever they want. It's like, sure, you can make the weight, but how are you gonna perform? And then that's why I started investing. Even when I'm an amateur, I actually have invested my money on a nutritionist. He works with DC, Max Holloway, Tyler Milton. He's been my nutritionist, but man, it's there's science to the nutrition when it comes to nutrition. You feel it in the training and you feel it in a fight. So that's the biggest investment I ever did, and I still will do it every fight, to be honest.
And you've kind of taken an interest to that personally, have you not? You know, you're kind of the team's personal chef right now. You're kind of looking at parlaying that in your own personal side business.
Yeah, that's my goal. Is I'm actually trying to go to school and actually learn about it and learn more about it, because you don't know it all. That's everybody. Nobody's perfect. Nobody knows it all. So I still want to learn from high level guys like college. And then I actually help a lot of guys in the team, like Chris Camozzi for his Glory fights. He actually is a Glory kickboxer. He's 25 vet in the UFC, so it's kind of, I've been cooking for him. And then of course I always want to start my business, so that's the next step for me, is to start my own business and then keep it going.
That's awesome. So everybody out there, make sure that after this fight, because granted, the focus has to be 100% on that first task at hand. But following the fight, make sure that you keep your eyes peeled out there for the Moroccan Devil in the kitchen out there, providing some meal prep services out there for you.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the people out there?
Man, just stay hardworking in whatever you do. That's the biggest lesson I had to learn. Is like, I kept talking negative to myself, and then be like, oh, I'm not, like, I can't, like, I'm not good at this. I'm just out. Like, I just give up. But trust me, if you can talk positive to your brain, it will change your life. That's the biggest thing I learned by myself, and kind of, I actually had to go through a lot of stuff. It was bigger things like suicide came in, depression, all that stuff. So it's a whole lot of story that changed my life, and I'm grateful for it to this day, because I know what I can do. I know I can be the best at whatever I want to be, and I can be the best at, and I can do whatever I want. I can be the highest one out of everybody. So that's what I kind of think about, and that's where everybody needs to wake up and just do what you like, do what you enjoy. It's not like just you doing it. Muhammad Ali says it like, I can't remember when he says, it's like, there's so many days in 365, but how many days did you live? How many days did you live? You just, if you go a regular job one time for years, how many years did you actually live? You didn't live your life. So that's my kind of type of deal. Is like, I want to live my life. I want to do what I want, what I enjoy, do what I love, which is mixed martial arts is what I do enjoy, and that's what I keep pursuing with. So that's my biggest advice to people out there. So keep where you at, keep going, keep grinding, and where you at. Do not stop. There's hard times, there's super hard times, and I still have it to this day. Every fighter does. Every fighter goes through struggles, and I know every person in life goes through struggle. That's how normal human beings are. It's like, you gotta go through struggles. Family side, husband, wife side, girlfriend, all this stuff. So it's kind of like, there's the light under the tunnel. Keep going. You'll find it.
That hits pretty heavy. You know, it's someone who has dealt with a lot of adversity and has figured out a way to overcome those struggles. You know, I definitely appreciate kind of the strength that you've helped given me just from our conversation. You know, we've kind of shared some of the same similar tragedies. So that's a hats off just in the little conversation that we've had right there. I just like to add this out there to the people listening. Make sure that you treat every day with a purpose.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow isn't promised. And that's something that we all should be able to take a message away and be able to apply it to our life in many different ways. You know, whether that be with progressing as just a person and fostering those relationships with those around you, making the most out of your career or whatever your situation is there. Don't be passive. Make sure that you treat life with a purpose and cherish the blessing that we have waking up every single day, because that's not something that's promised.
I mean, yeah, and not everybody's like, I'm not great at it some days, like, of course, but you choose your people wisely, choose your friends wisely. Like you said, show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. It's kind of like that type of deal. It's like, the more friends you get, the more positive friends you get, the more they want to push you, the more all this, you'll find the right friends, and then your life keeps changing every time. But there's always that one day it hits you all of a sudden, and then like from sudden, for me, it was my brother's death, and then it was like, whoa, like, I'm young, I'm 19 years old, like, what is the purpose of me living here? It's like, it makes no sense. So it's kind of like, but it does make sense. It's everything happens for a reason, and then that's what I kind of pushes and keep going at, instead of me just being like, oh, I'll just live my life like every regular human being. I'm trying to be different. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different than anybody else. And that's what I feel like everybody's goal should be. You should be different than anybody else. You want to be the best in the world. If you don't want to be the best in the world, why are you doing this? Why are you doing your job if you want to be the best at whatever you do? It's like, that's how I feel about it in the model and in my training. It's like, I want to be the best in the world, but you got to put the work to be the best in the world. A lot of people get lazy when it comes to work, but remember, work will change your life, and especially in hard work. If you put in the hard work and keep grinding at it, remember, there's failures, and then you always come up on top. I guarantee you that.
Definitely, and that sounds like, you know, that's a lot of the David Goggins principle, you know, to become uncommon amongst common people. You know, so, or even I should say, uncommon amongst uncommon people is what his phrase is. You know, he was a gentleman who was a Navy SEAL, and that wasn't enough for him. He has a credible story out there for anybody who wants to look him up and realize that, or see what David Goggins is all about. Someone that you can definitely draw motivation from.
I love those guys, and I love, like, Muhammad Ali. When I was young, he was like, I love all these people. Like, they're different. They're not the same as everybody. Every fighter in the fight game is like. For example, just look at Conor McGregor. There's nobody like him in that sport. It's whole different, because it's his own. It's his own belief, and belief is a big thing in anything in the world. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. That's how everybody should think about it. It's if you don't have belief, just stop doing it. You're not enjoying it. It's like if you don't believe in, love it, it's like what's the purpose of you doing it? It's you just surviving out there. That's what learned from the 4 years when I was here. My family kind of was tough going like financially in this, so we're basically surviving. So it's kind of like, I mean, we still to this day, everybody still survive. There's always everybody. We're not the richest dudes in America, that's for sure. It's like we still survive to this day. You survive from paycheck to paycheck, but are you living life? It's just the main thing. It's like that's what I feel like, and then that's what I'm trying to get better. I try to get better every day too. It's like I'm trying to live my life instead of me just surviving. So that's the type of deal, and I know I can change my life doing what I believe. So that's my main goal.
Definitely. Yo, real quick again, where can people follow you at online?
The Instagram at the Moroccan Devil, Twitter at the Moroccan Devil, and Facebook Youssef Zalal.
Make sure that you guys check out the Moroccan Devil, Youssef Zalal, on all of those handles right there. Also, make sure that you pick up those tickets for the fight on Friday, March 16th. It's definitely going to be a killer show here in Denver. Looking for a big finish right there. You know, hopefully we come out on top here from Factory X. It's been a great time here, shooting and rapping with some stuff here for you today. My name is Jordan Kurtz with Comments from the Peanut Gallery. You can look us up at www.galleriesofpeanuts.com, on Facebook at Peanut Sports, on Instagram at Comments from the Peanut Gallery, and on Twitter at Peanut Podcast. On the outro playing out for you, we're going to have the single from Beyond Bridges playing out called On My Mind. Make sure that you check them out on iTunes. The single is available for purchase, as well as the debut EP titled On My Mind as well, available for purchase to hit your downloads on March 16th as well. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
My baby gets home from playing in the sand. The beach is down the street, it's in the palm of our hands. And we go every day with the sun or the moonlight. It gets us vibing hard, but it makes us feel just right. Throw a couple back, dance by the fire. The waves are crashing down and I admire all the love in your eyes. It's burning bright like the stars tonight. Whoa, you've been on my mind. You've been on my mind. You've been on my mind, because you're all mine. Yeah, you're all mine. I said I strum my guitar and play her my song, and deep in my heart I know this love's strong like the tide. It's rising up to the piers tonight. Whoa, I said the ocean breeze will carry us home, all the way back to Colorado. I will follow you to the mountains top.
He was born in the summer of his 27th year, going home to the place he'd never been before. He left his past behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found the key to every door. Colorado, Rocky Mountain, starlight is softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.